Alright, surgery update. Week 5. Things are pretty good right now. I kind of have bedhead. A little bit, not too much. But let's see, 2 days ago, I walked almost an entire mile and like one walk, like no breaks. And it was up a pretty big hill and back, so that's a pretty big deal. I was very excited about that, and that day I walked about 2 miles throughout the entire day because we also did some grocery shopping. This was without crutches, without a cane, without anything, and this is week 5. So I just wanted to kind of go through, what to expect a little bit more now that I'm like further out. If anybody's thinking about getting this surgery, one thing that I really didn't expect was that, once I started walking and feeling good, it really felt like I was going to be able to do a lot of the things that I was able to do before, right? Because I lay down and I wouldn't feel stiff. I would get up and walk around and I'd still feel okay. But then when, this was around week 3, week 4, last week or 2 weeks ago, I would go to do something like just take a walk, and I'd have to, take a break because I couldn't even make it a quarter mile. So it's when the first 2 weeks you're completely laid up, you've pretty much accepted that you're not going to be able to do anything, right? And so you just don't try. But the second 2 weeks are a different type of struggle because you feel like you're ready to do some things, and then you go to try them and your body's just oh, I'm not ready for that. Part of the struggle, I think, I'm going to turn on the light real quick, but part of the struggle I think I'm also experiencing right now is that being late for 2 weeks when you're not doing anything, all your muscles in your body are going to atrophy. If you haven't walked in 2 weeks, it's going to be hard to walk, right? No matter whether you've had surgery or not. And so I've noticed that my back muscles are pretty weak, and my legs are kind of weak. My arms are actually pretty strong because they were using the crutches and the cane and, moving myself around, compensating for other parts of my body. But I have a really bad tendency to lean onto my left hip. That's the non-operative side, so that's the side that is still good at the moment. But I have a really bad tendency to favor that hip, which, right, it's going to knock out my posture. It's going to misalign my pelvis. It's going to hurt my back. So I've been trying to really fix my habits of no longer favoring that hip and really trying to equal it out. So when I'm standing, I'm not leaning on one side. And this was a habit I built way before surgery, too, because it was, my hip was in pain before surgery. That's why I got surgery. So my habits for months have been, favoring my left side and babying my right. So now it's getting to the point where, I really need to focus on, rebuilding my posture so that I can get rid of that lower back pain. Because, again, in laying down for 2 weeks, I laid on my stomach a little bit, 2 hours a day. That was part of the routine. But mostly I was laying on my back. And then when I got up, I was on crutches, right, hunched over. And for even when I could first walk, I couldn't really I didn't really have a lot of stability when I let my bad leg of the bad hip go behind me. So it was a little bit of a limp, right? When you walk, right, as your foot goes behind you like that, it puts pressure on your hip. So when I couldn't really take that leg very far back, which made it which I think was causing lower back pain because I wasn't walking properly. So now that I've really, when I'm walking, I'm very mindful of it, and I try to really focus on getting the strength back in that hip so that I can bring the leg back a little bit more, and then also just really focusing on posture, standing straight up, because when you're on crutches, when you're on cane, you're kind of hunched over, and it's not serving your body anyway. So I've been trying to, just stand with a healthy posture like I used to before all this mess came into my life. Chest up and, just really shoulders back and, pelvis kind of tucked under you, not necessarily rotated forward. If you sit all day, your pelvis kind of rotates forward and underneath you like that a little bit, which puts a lot of pressure on the lower back. So I've been trying to just really rewire my habits to serve my body rather than be detrimental to it. Because, right, if you baby it too much and you don't use it too much, you're not going to get the strength back, and I would just be stuck. So I've been going for a walk. I've been going for like short walks, and I almost walked a mile, pretty much all on hills, like 2 days ago. And then yesterday I rested the entire day because I was sore from it. But I wasn't just sore in my hip, I was sore in my back and my legs and my core. I was sore everywhere, so that's a really good sign. As like for progress wise, they're having me do like, I want to show you some exercise, just like basic like cat camel or cat cow, and then I have to like do these exercises to go back into child's pose like 10 times, 2 sets of 10, so 20. I've been doing other things too, because like I said, when you're in crutches, you're hunched over and you're not really using proper posture. So one thing regular I can do today is I think it's called camel pose, but it's like 3 weeks after surgery I could not do this. I could do some of the other stuff, but again, that pressure on my hip, right? If I lean back like this, that puts pressure on my hip. I couldn't do this a couple weeks ago. So like, this is another one I just added in today, right? Camel pose opens up the chest and it strengthens the hip a little bit more. That just helps get the stability back in there. The more I build the strength in my hip, the more it feels like the pain's going away. And I can't quite sit cross-legged yet. I can sit like close to cross-legged and kind of sit like this, but if I start putting this leg too much sideways, let me show you. Like if I was like doing cobbler pose, right? I'm gonna really guide my legs out. Like it starts to hurt right about there. So like this leg is not ready to go out because it starts putting tension on my hip. But other than that, like normal activities are pretty good. Just not gonna be like skateboarding or biking or anything like that soon. I've also been doing a lot of back strengthening. Like I said, the muscles in your back just get so weak, and I feel like a lot of this is like totally applicable to everyday pain. It's not even related to hip surgery, right? A lot of people have chronic pain. I've been doing things like, I don't know if you can see my leg, but like lifting both legs and having my hands like this so that I can strengthen my back. Overall, just really listening to my body too. So if it kicks back, I give it the rest it needs. But at surgery, it hasn't been too bad. Listen to me, I'm out of breath because I'm out of shape because I've been laid up. I haven't even done much. This surgery hasn't been too bad. It's just like the tough thing is the mental aspect of it, and just like being really patient with myself and being like, okay, just because I feel good doesn't necessarily mean I can go do that, because I might not feel good later, right? And it's like, oh, I feel like I'm ready for that, and then you try it and it's like, oh, I was totally not ready for that. So it's, take a step back and take a break. But yeah, I've just been doing gentle exercises like every other day, every 2 days or whatever feels right, and doing a lot of yoga. But overall, it's been good. And if you're considering getting the surgery, so far I would recommend it. But again, it's like 90% of your, I wouldn't say 90. You need a good surgeon, you need good doctors, you need good follow-up. But like probably like 70 to 80% of how effective it is gonna be based on what's going on in here. Because I also know somebody who got the surgery 6 weeks before me from the same doctor on the same hip. Crazy, right? And she's actually sort of in the family. She's my sister-in-law, right? So, but she's still on crutches because she's babying herself. She's milking it out, not taking care of herself. You got to eat right too. I've been eating a vegan diet for like almost 2 years, and before that I was like vegetarian. And before that I was semi-vegetarian. So very gradual process getting there. Didn't go straight into veganism, but drinking a ton of water, eating the right foods, doing the right exercises, keeping your head up, and strengthening the muscles that you can strengthen, focusing on what you can do rather than getting caught up in what you can't do. Very universal rules here. So I hope you got value out of this. If you had the surgery or thinking about getting the surgery, keep your head up. I was in so much pain before. I'm in less pain now, even only 5 weeks out. I was in less pain 4 weeks out. Like, my hip hurts so bad before surgery. I couldn't do crap. Like it hurts so bad. So like right now, I don't really have a lot of pain. When I do, it's because of my posture's not right, and then I go to fix my posture, right, get my pelvis in position properly, and I get my shoulders up. And when I start really focusing on that, my pain starts to ease up a bit. So that tells me that um, less of it's coming from the hip now, and more of it's just coming from muscle atrophy and bad posture. And those things can be fixed by me, not, my hip I couldn't fix. I couldn't reshape the bone and repair the labrum myself, but now I'm at a point where the problems that I'm facing, I have the power to fix it if I'm just patient and I stick with it. So, the surgery might be a good idea if you're going to have a positive mindset and really focus on recovering, and you really are resilient that way. But it also might be a bad idea if you're going to play victim. Woe is me, oh my god, I got this surgery, it's the worst thing that ever happened to me. Don't even get it if you're going to have that mindset, because if you go in with the mindset it's going to be the worst thing that ever happened to you, it is going to be the worst thing that ever happened to you. If you go into the mindset that it's not going to be a big deal, it's just a few months and you recover from it, then it's not going to be a big deal. You're going to take some time, it's going to be a few months and you'll recover from it. So, 90, I don't know the percentage exactly. I feel like 80% at least is mindset. Because once surgery is done, you have a lot of work to do as an individual. You have a lot of responsibility to take on for your own body. You can't expect other people to magically fix it and then everything's okay and fine and dandy. Even if you don't have an injury, you still got to exercise to maintain your body. So there's people who don't do that, and they wonder why they end up fat and unhealthy and, with a crap ton of health problems, and they're eating badly, and they don't understand why why they are getting all these problems. It doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're a proactive person and you hold yourself accountable, you're really good at self-discipline and self-accountability, surgery could be a good idea for this, with the right doctors, with the right, to do your research. Don't just go into it blind, and really make sure you understand what you're up against. And watch my videos, see where I was. There were some days where I was feeling really down and depressed, but there's other days where you have a little victory and I was feeling really upbeat and happy, right? There's a lot of ups and downs. So but yeah, it's really about how you perceive it and what you're going to put into it. And you can't, just because you get a surgery and you get part of your body fixed, doesn't mean it's going to completely fix itself. There's got to be a amount of personal responsibility. So